Happy hump day, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope all is well. Hope you guys are having a productive work week, yada yada. Young men are struggling to find work in this slow job market due to all the layoffs in tech. That's where a lot of young people are heading right after school, their college degrees. It's amazing how so many people I know that are in tech. I barely know anybody in healthcare besides myself. That's what's crazy, right? But anyway, let's roll this clip from NBC News. Let's check it out.
There's a troubling trend for young men in a labor market that's showing signs of slowing down. A new analysis of
She is so fine, like a breath of fresh air.
labor data by NBC News shows that the unemployment rate for men between 23 and 30 with a bachelor's degree.
Look at that. Bachelor's degree, both men and women. It's stagnant. But then take a look at the bachelor's degree in young adults. The men are way more unemployed than women. Then look at high school, meaning just high school education and no degree. And then high school educated young adults. Wow. That's crazy.
Has jumped nearly double that of women and is higher than the overall unemployment rate. Well, now young men with degrees are more likely to be unemployed than those with just a high school diploma. NBC News senior policy reporter Shannon Pettypiece joins us now. Shannon, when I saw this data come out,
Hey, tell me why they're almost wearing the same shirt. The only difference is the cutie here on the left has the silk. It's like the next step to lingerie. But anyway,
I was really interested, surprised, but I'm really curious what story it tells us. What do you think this tells us about why we're experiencing it now, but also why men are feeling this?
Well, when I talked to economists about this data, which really jumped out at me as well, they pointed to changing dynamics in the job market at the moment. There has been a real surge in demand for traditionally women-dominated fields and professions. So healthcare, where 80% of the workers.
you see this right here? You see this office setup right here? This is what you call white-collar positions. In a nice luxury office, heating and air conditioning, don't have to be in outside harmful conditions, like out on the farm where you get stung by a bee, stuff like that. It's like, yes, it's like a lot of that work's gone away. A lot of people has this vision of being in a luxury office. And men are heavily criticized for working in these environments because a man is supposed to be out in the field doing all the electrician, the hard work, everything, you know.
Are women is one of the main drivers of hiring.
Okay.
Meanwhile, some of these traditionally male-dominated industries like tech, for example.
You see this right here? The top majors by gender. Businesses and marketing is mainly men. Engineering, 13% of it is men. Computer science, 10% men. But then in healthcare, it's women. Business and marketing, 14%. Psychology, 8%. Wow. That's an interesting chart. But
Has actually been cutting thousands of jobs over the past couple years here after going on a big hiring spree.
and let's be real, these top 3 for men, that's where all the job cuts are being experienced. That's where they're cutting the most in the work world. Versus health, everybody needs health care, but even they're facing cuts too. Even where I work, they're doing cutbacks. They might not necessarily cut positions, but they'll cut hours too. So business and marketing, psychology, but then that's like being the doctor too.
During the pandemic. We're also seeing job losses in industries like manufacturing. So at this moment, the labor market, which really isn't growing that much at all, but
Now take a look at this picture. What's wrong with this picture? Companies are always looking for a way to cut back and save some money. So due to AI, automation, a lot of these chairs are not going to be filled. It's just like when you go into a bank. You're not, let's say you'll see that long desk and you could see they could have up to 20 tellers at one time. But a lot of times they're only going to have 4 or 5 tellers when they can have 20. They don't want to pay for 20 tellers. That's why they're only using 5. And they probably all have medical benefits with the bank too. So if they had 20 people to pay healthcare to, that's more money they have to spend. So they could slowly just use AI, and this office will be empty. And then a lot of these office buildings end up being empty anyway because the companies look for a way to have people work at home. But that's a small percentage.
Whatever growth is happening is really occurring in these female-dominated industries, which leaves a lot of men, especially those with college degrees, struggling to get their foot in the job market.
Why aren't young women sort of facing the same hurdles, but also what should young men be doing about all this?
Now, before they give you the real answer, I'm going to give you the real answer on my side. They'll give you the political answer. I'm going to give you the street answer. So check this out. We all know why. You have to have experience. They want you to have some kind of job experience, because what's happening is a lot of people think that they're just going to get this degree and just watch their way into the company or whatever position they're trying to get. And they think that they're entitled to the job because they have the education and the piece of paper. But they want to know who you know that works there, and do you have what it takes to do the job. They want proof. A college degree is not proof that you could do the job, because you have no connections, you have no resources, and you don't know anybody. So you're dead in the water right there. Versus women, all they have to do is look good and wear the shortest skirt, blouse. Boom, they got the job.
They want to boost their prospects right now.
Yeah, so I mean, and young women are susceptible to this too if they're in one of these areas where there's facing some stagnation. I've certainly heard from a number of women who are struggling to find a job as well. But yeah, women who are in fields like healthcare, like education, they're typically a lot more likely to be able to get a job straight out of college, or if they want to switch a job or if they're laid off, to be able to find another one quickly, because there's just so much demand, particularly in healthcare right now.
Y'all hear that? But see, the thing is, a lot of people don't want to do hands on deck healthcare, meaning they don't want to get their hands dirty and shit. Even if you have to start off as a housekeeper to get in, which is what I did. I went from housekeeping to a staffer to a department coordinator. I have to make sure the nurses have what they need to do their job. I have to make sure they're doing the labs in a timely manner. So if the labs aren't drawn by a certain times, the doctors get on edge. So it's my job to investigate why those labs weren't done yet on that patient. And this is where it gets serious. You're playing with people's lives. People are bleeding out. You know, it's just things. It's all about communication. But a lot of people don't want these responsibilities. But mind you, these responsibilities are very rewarding, whether if you're a man or a woman.
For the young men, the experts that I talked to, suggested potentially looking at a career pivot. Of course, healthcare, certainly, I've probably mentioned that about 10 times in this conversation. It is the hot place in the job market. So for men, they consider careers in there. And also
transportation. Even my dad said this. Healthcare and transportation, you'll always have a job. I mean, they might do some cutbacks every now and then, but it won't be like it is in tech. Because you got to remember, tech workers aren't sponsored by a union. Most healthcare workers are just like construction workers. They're protected and backed up by a union. But not all unions are very strong. So there's still loopholes, but you're better off in healthcare than you are tech.
Also, for men who are looking to kind of stay in one of these more male-dominated industries, construction is still an area that has a big need. Even though we've seen some slowdown in construction hiring and construction demand in the current economy, I talked to some construction economists, and they said there's still a lot of need and demand for men there, which is kind of helping for those without a college degree, with just a high school diploma.
And those guys make up to like $80K to $100,000 a year. So don't judge those guys, because see, a lot of people look down at people that do the work to get their hands dirty. But I'm like, if it wasn't for these guys, you wouldn't be living in that nice luxury apartment on the 20th floor. Understand? Those guys are the masterminds. They had to read the blueprint. They had to do their mathematics. They had to do the wiring, all the hard work, while you sit on your ass on your 15-inch expensive $3,000 MacBook in a luxury cafe. Bullshitting on YouTube.
But it does take some training and experience to get their foot in the door even there.
Just really good story.
It's not what you know, it's who you know. And who you know better know they shit. So the college degree it might help a little bit. Having a college degree is almost like looking good. Understand? It's almost like keeping yourself up. It's a foot in the door because you look good. And it's another foot in the door because you have the education. But the third foot in the door, who do you know and who sent you? And you better have a good answer. Otherwise, we're going to march your ass right back out the door. Good day, sir. But if you're a woman, all you have to do is show some flesh. Okay, she has the job.
Retelling about the context of those numbers there. Shannon Pettypiece. Shannon, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay up.
Remember. All right, thanks for watching this clip. I'm also have one for the ladies too. Now, see, it's the opposite with the ladies. See, the men are struggling to find work. The women are dropping out of work. And we're going to get to the bottom of it in the next video. Peace.